Welcome to The Explainer. The Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul fight was, well, it was a lot of things. But maybe the real story wasn't just what happened in the ring, but what was said right next to it. Today, we're going to break down the ringside commentary to really understand the bizarre, confusing, and, in the end, explosive story that unfolded that night. So, let's just dive right in. Why did this fight leave everyone just scratching their heads? Because from the very first bell, you could tell something was off. This was not the explosive start anyone was expecting. And the commentators, man, they were right there with the audience, totally confused, just trying to figure out what in the world was happening in front of them. Those first few rounds, they weren't about big punches or slick boxing. Nope. They were all about a deep, growing frustration. You could literally hear it in the commentators' voices, this mix of confusion and just pure annoyance. I mean, it doesn't get more blunt than that, does it? This one quote pretty much captures the entire mood in the building. There was so much hype, so much expectation, and what everyone was getting was, well, a massive letdown. So what exactly was the problem? Well, if you listen to the commentary booth, the problem had a name: Jake Paul. They were absolutely hammering him for his tactics, all the holding, what they saw as stalling. They basically felt he wasn't there to actually fight, that he wasn't playing by the rules, and the whole thing was just grinding to a halt. And then, just when it felt like the whole night might be a total bust, everything changed. I mean, the whole narrative just flipped on its head. It didn't just shift, it totally exploded. All of a sudden, we actually had a fight on our hands. Look at this comparison, it tells the whole story. You go from these frustrating early rounds full of holding and complaining to a legit turning point. The second Paul starts to actually trade punches, you hear the commentator's tone completely change. They're basically saying, okay, now he's looking to make it a fight. You can almost feel the relief. And this quote right here, this just sums it all up. The confusion wasn't just in the commentary booth. It was everywhere. People's phones were blowing up. The fight went from being this boring, kind of cringy event to this chaotic, unpredictable thing that had everyone talking. The frustration was gone, and instead it was just, what is going on? So once the fight really got going, the commentary's focus snapped right onto Anthony Joshua, and they even started calling him the Predator. Think about that. The message was crystal clear. Playtime is over. The way the commentators called the ending was just electric. They painted this picture of just brutal three-step efficiency. Step 1, the first knockdown from that huge right hand. Step 2, that insane uppercut that everyone, including the commentators, thought was the end, but somehow Paul survives. And then Step 3, the final left hand that just closes the show. The referee's count hits 9, and that's it. It's over. The fight that was so weird, so controversial, ends in the most decisive way you possibly can. A clean knockout. No questions asked. All right, so after that absolute roller coaster, how did the commentators wrap it all up? After everything they'd seen and said, what was their final take on this very, very strange night of boxing? When it came to Anthony Joshua, the verdict was simple. He did his job, plain and simple. Despite all the weirdness at the start, he stayed professional, he waited for his moment, and he delivered the exact knockout finish everyone expected him to. A total pro. Now here's where it gets interesting. After roasting his tactics all night, the final word on Jake Paul was, surprisingly, one of respect. Yeah, they actually gave him props for his toughness, for having the guts to even get in there with a killer like Joshua in the first place. A complete 180 from where they started. So what's the story here? When you listen to the ringside commentary, it's a complicated one. It starts with absolute frustration over Jake Paul's tactics and ends with respect for his heart. And it really leaves us with this one big question. Was his performance just a mockery of the sport, full of controversial moves? Or was it a testament to just pure, unbelievable tenacity? The view from ringside suggests the truth is probably somewhere in that messy, fascinating middle.